Freddie,
Oh, go ahead.
someone has a question, and it's an
Yeah, yeah.
interesting one too. So, for those of you who just joined, where Dr. Ray is talking about Omicron subvariants BA.4 and BA.5. Um, Eskrima underscore film asked, would you say that it's safe to grocery shop in person or still continue switching to delivery?
Okay, wow, that's a great question. Yeah, so I do think that it's totally okay to go grocery shopping, do your normal daily tasks, go to work, do your not chores, but do your errands and stuff like that in person. Again, even though BA.4 and 5 is really contagious, you can kind of mitigate your exposure yourself, right? So wearing like a KN95 mask, making sure that you're sanitizing your hands. And if you do touch fruits and all that stuff at the grocery store, make sure you carry a bottle of sanitizer with you and you don't touch your T zone or like the places where you'd most likely get infected. Another
Right.
thing you want to do is if you go to like a smaller grocery store, let's just say like a local Asian mart or something like that, which are, prevalent in Stockton, you might want to just be careful with like crowded areas. So if you know there's a lot of people in one area, just make sure you're wearing a tight fitted mask and then maybe not linger there so much. And or make sure that you go to a grocery store that has great ventilation. So
Yeah.
doors are open, air conditioning sort of thing. And just try not to be, and if you see everybody in the store isn't wearing a mask, maybe it's a store you either avoid or don't spend too much time there, or you go to like a store where more people are wearing masks, something like that. But I don't think that you need to necessarily avoid civilization at this point in time. And I'm not laughing at your question, but I know that with us returning to like normalcy, if you've already had your first series, if you've already had your booster, like 3 doses, you're pretty darn protected, even against Omicron BA.4 and 5. So I wouldn't necessarily stop everything that I've been doing for the last year. I would just, take more precautions. So, for instance, over the last few months, as COVID and stuff kind of has, melted away, I've personally, gone out to eat more and, maybe wear a less protective mask. But now that with BA.4 and 5 kind of on the rise, I'm a lot more susceptible to, at the gym, I'm wearing KN95s. If I'm at the grocery store, I don't take so long. I make sure to sanitize whenever I'm in a closed, enclosed area and things like that. So, I wouldn't say like, yes, this is something to be worried about, but you don't necessarily need to like, you know, avoid civilization. I'm just going to keep it that broad. But yeah, no, that's a great question. I do know that you definitely want to be as safe as possible for you and your family.
Mhm.
And we have mitigation strategies for that. So getting vaccinated is number one, right? At least 3 doses. So you get your primary series and a booster. If you do that, that's pretty much, you know, the best protection you can get. Wear a tight fitted mask, sanitize, go to high airflow areas. So yeah, great question. I hope that answered it. And if not, keep asking away, and I'll see what I can do to
I
explain
think
that.
I think I'll personally add on to that. I carry hand sanitizer with me everywhere I go. It's in my car, or if I'm like going out and about, I carry it with me on my person. So it just makes me feel a little bit safer. It makes me feel a little bit more protected. I carry my mask everywhere I go. I think in California, mask mandates have lifted. But for myself, as a personal preference, I still wear my mask in grocery stores, and I make sure to always have it on me.
Yeah, I mean that's totally okay. Whether you always wear a mask or not, I think like depending on your comfortability with like protecting yourself, right? So, keeping a mask in your pocket doesn't really hurt me keeping it in my pocket. And if I really don't feel comfortable in a certain situation, I'll just put it on real quick, and that's that. So, if you are still kind of like iffy about, should I wear a mask around people or not, like definitely if you have people, I guess one thing I'll add is like, you got to weigh your risks and benefits, right? If you live with elderly people at home or high risk people, or you yourself are you immunocompromised or had cancer, lung transplant or something like that in the past, or you're on, steroids because of some other reason, you definitely want to protect yourself. And again, masking, vaccines, it's kind of like gauging the situation.